A few weeks ago, we made a video talking about what I would do if I owned the Six Flags chain. In today's video, we're going to do the Cedar Fair side of it. They technically are the same company now, I keep on forgetting, but we're going to work through their parks. For the last video, we kidnapped Elon Musk to get money, and for this video, we're going to intercept monetary aid funds sent to Africa for the money. So we basically have infinite money, but we are going to keep it in the realm of possibility for Cedar Fair. Like, we aren't going to build a giga coaster at every park, though that is totally something Cedar Fair could do, but we're not going to build like velocicoaster and pour billions into a single edition. So if I own Cedar Fair, these are the coasters that I'm adding to each park's lineup. Let's begin. We are going in literally the most random order ever, so we're starting off with Michigan's Adventure. This is the most neglected Cedar Fair park. The last major addition was in 2008. That was 15 years ago. This park would be lucky to get a bucket of paint, so anything would be much appreciated here. I don't see much profitability in this park, but I want to treat them nice anyways. We can get them literally any standout coaster and it would suffice. It could be a B&M Hyper, an RMC Raptor, they just need something. So I decided I'm going to give them an amazing Intamin Blitz. That looks like something along the lines of Batman Gotham City Escape. It won't be themed like Batman, it will look more like Pantheon, but it'll just be just as good of a coaster as Batman, and that's what matters. It would actually make this park worth visiting and give them a once-in-a-generation coaster. Next up is Dorney Park, and with the opening of Iron Menace this year, their lineup is looking better than ever. They already have a very well-rounded lineup to begin with, and then Iron Menace just slotted in perfectly. I love this park because each addition and every detail that they add is something that they truly need, and I will applaud their ownership for that. The one thing this park is lacking is a true standout coaster, so I guess it is in the running for that. I feel like something we could do is build a gravity group shuttle coaster in a similar style to Switchback at ZDT's. If we make it big enough, it could be a standout coaster, and I think it would complement the other coasters very nicely. If we want to go with more of a steel route, we can make a Vekoma multi-launch and call it a day. I really like my wood coaster idea though. Worlds of Fun is up next, and this is also not a very popular park. They just broke their coaster drought with Zambezi Singer just last year, so they aren't really due for anything. This park has enough wood coasters, so they definitely should go steel here, and they are badly in need of a launch, like badly. I don't think Intamin would work well here. I don't know why, just not really feeling it. So we have two options I would like to suggest. We get a mock compact launch coaster that looks something like Beyond the Clouds, or a mock striker similar to Voltron. Either of these would make for an elite launch coaster that would fill this need in their lineup. Next up is ValleyFair, yet another neglected Cedar Fair park. This company really picks and chooses who they like, but it's whatever. This park needs a multi-looper, which is kind of an odd thing because that was the trend like 25 years ago, but I guess they never really hopped on it. Most people are saying B&M, which would make a lot of sense. A wing, invert, or dive coaster would really fit well within this park. They also could get a new gen Vekoma in the style of Phonics. I just really like the idea of a wing coaster though, so that is my personal pick. Now we have a lot more parks that Cedar Fair actually cares about. Knott's Berry Farm is next up, and there are some interesting options here. This park is landlocked and there basically is no room to expand. I think they really need some more airtime. I know Ghost Rider exists, but who is complaining about more airtime? We need something small and compact, and to draw inspiration, let's look at another park that struggles with land, Grönlund. This park is building a Vekoma launch coaster with plenty of airtime, and I think that would be a great option for Knott's. I do think Knott's is good on the launch coaster department with Accelerator and Pony Express, so a Phonics style Vekoma would be great. Or dare I say, a tilt coaster. I don't know if it's too gimmicky and too close to hang time and what it offers, but it would be a great spectacle that would also deliver some airtime, and I think Vekoma and Cedar Fair would do a good job at fitting this in the park in some way. Next up is California's Great America, and this park does not have a future anymore. It is being sold off and blah 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 blah, yeah, they're cooked. But if I was CEO of Cedar Fair, I would not sell off this property because I really enjoy this park and it has a large market to pull from. I would actually focus a lot on this park in order to make it one of the top tier parks. The B&M Hyper that they were going to build years ago would have fit perfectly in this park's lineup, and I don't think I would have changed anything that was planned. I would have just built it. However, this park really does need a launch, so I think something like a B&M Surf Coaster could do the trick. It has launches and it has airtime. Even though it is really gimmicky floater airtime, you do get your fill of traditional ejector elsewhere with Railblazer and Gold Striker, so I think it would be fine. Also, it would be so easy to theme it to surfing. It is California, we have amazing beaches. I know it's kind of ripping off Pipeline, but it's in the name, Surf Coaster. I think we're going to see more than one of these themed to surfing. So in that regard, it is also fine. Next up is King's Dominion. As it stands right now, we already know that a wing coaster is being created, so let's pretend this ride has already been built. What would I add to the lineup? They just got a launch coaster and another multi-looper, and the park already has so much ejector airtime with Timmy and I-305, so I think we could build something that focuses more on floater airtime. Busch Gardens Williamsburg is only an hour away, so I don't think a B&M Hyper is a wise idea. It would just look like we are 25 years late to the party. If we still wanted to build a hyper coaster though, we could go with Vekoma. It would be the first of its kind, and I think it would be a game breaker in the industry. It also could fill Volcano's footsteps in a very grand way. The other option is to give it a B&M surf coaster, but I feel less inclined to do this here than at Great America because I think we need something more impactful, so Vekoma Hyper it is. Next up is Kings Island, one of Cedar Fair's prized possessions. They have a B&M Giga, they have an Elite Woody. What else do they need? Well, how about the best coaster in the world? Kings Island has a sugar daddy, they get what they want, they get an extreme spinner, and me as the interim CEO of Cedar Fair, Six Flags, and the sugar daddy, I will give them an extreme spinner. Ride to Happiness is often regarded as one of the best coasters in the world, and Mach themselves have said that they have more to put on the table. We will see what this means when they open their spinner at Holiday Park, but I want this coaster to be in contention for the best in the world, so whatever it takes to do that, I am building it. Plus, I gotta make this park better than Cedar Point because we all know that's true, right? Next up is another one of Cedar Fair's prized possessions, and that is Canada's Wonderland. This park has only pretty recently been one of their favorites. They have a lot of really bad stuff from back in the day, so I think removals are due for this park. This park is in dire need of any launch though. They do have a family launch coaster and backlot stunt coaster, but they really need something with more power in it. Last video I kept on naming SNS Air launch coasters, and this video we're going to continue naming Mach Strikers. I really like the idea of a large scale striker coaster here. I think it could completely change the landscape of this park, especially if they attach some mild theming to it. If Voltron proved anything, it showed that Mach is a top tier competitor in the industry and they are willing to make world class coasters. If we don't want a Mach coaster, the other option could be a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster. This is another model that can deliver a diverse layout with super punchy launches. Like if you look at Carnan, anything remotely close to that is elite, and I think Canada's Wonderland could equally benefit from either of two of these options. Next up is the one and only Carowinds. This park has a lot of good stuff to go around and it is tricky adding a new coaster. A lot of people want an RMC hurler, and I agree, but I think I could do something a little more entertaining. RMC Hurler would also take away the park's only wood coaster, and that is a project that is destined to happen later down the line, so maybe in preparation for it, we build a modern Woody that can fill in Hurler's place. I think a Titan track layout could fit well into this park. I know it's now a hybrid coaster and blah blah blah, but the GP see it as a smoother wood coaster. The new GCI Titan track layouts are crazy, and imagine having a launched wood coaster with inversions. Carowinds can market that to oblivion and really advertise that to the best of their ability, bragging about being the first of its kind. Also, if it is reliable, it could be a contender for an elite coaster and give this park one of the best lineups in the world, especially with RMC Hurler later down the pipeline. Saving the best for last, we have Cedar Point. Now Cedar Point is very landlocked, or more like waterlocked, but we could still do a lot within the grounds of this property. I think there are demolitions on the horizon, but it's really hard to point fingers at what will close, though we are all crossing our fingers for Gemini. What most commonly comes up with Cedar Point is a modern wood coaster. With Mean Street gone, Cedar Point could really use a modern wood coaster that would fill that section on the lineup, but I just don't think this is an amazing idea. The other thing that people commonly talk about is a Mach Extreme Spinner. Cedar Point has one of the best coaster lineups in the world, with some of the best coasters in the world. So to continue their legacy, a Mach Extreme Spinner could top off their collection. As cool as this would be, and as much as I want to see this is not what Cedar Point needs. What they need is a big modern family coaster, and no, not some random spinning wild mouse, that does not count. I'm thinking something like Big Bear Mountain or Jungle Rush. We need a big Vekoma family coaster. It needs to be themed moderately well, eat through people, and just be a fun ride. This park really needs it. So yeah, hate on me all you want, but Cedar Point is getting a massive family coaster. So that is every park in the Cedar Fair chain. Let me know if you agree with my decisions in the comment section down below. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord, link in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.